Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl Lauren Sizzle, and you are now tuned in to one of the hottest talk shows in the nation. We Talk Weekly's After the Talk.
I'm Classy Lady Sparkle. You want to binge listen to our shows? Follow the We Talk Weekly's podcast on iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Spreaker.
What up, folks? This your boy Charles Gregory. Make sure to follow us on all our socials at We Talk Weekly.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Lily. So make sure you keep it locked to We Talk Weekly on 106.5 FM.
Today we have Amin Brown, who was elected as state representative of the 190 Legislative District in November of 2020 and re-elected in 2022. Amin is a fearless advocate and voice as he works to bring resources to Philadelphia, investing in the community to make our city better. Amin continues to be a true leader that never wavers in doing what is best for the people. Please give a warm We Talk Weekly welcome to mayoral candidate Amin Brown.
Hey, my God. My God. Thanks for coming to the show. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm fantastic. Couldn't be better.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Thanks for coming to We Talk Weekly, man. You know.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get right to it.
Let's get into it.
My God,
I hope y'all ready for a transparent conversation with a real legislator.
Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate it.
Respect the transparency.
I'm gonna tell you what it is. I'm gonna tell you what they don't want you to hear.
I know that's what we want to hear.
I'm ready.
I'm dead serious.
We want to hear. We definitely want to hear. But first, right? Because I want to make sure we do you our due diligence in how do you pronounce your name, right? Because we hear it, Amin. How do you say the name correctly?
Yeah, it's Amin. Amin Brown.
Yeah, okay.
But hey, I like them all.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like Amen. That's been the most frequent one.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially in church.
Yeah, no, I'm sure, no doubt. Shout out to our people over there. So real quick, before we get into any of the questions, right? The one thing that I like to do, just to kind of, let you know how we do this process. We always like to give you guys a safe space. Not saying that you're willing to pull back anything, but just to say, because what we like to do is humanize the candidates. You guys been on panels forever.
Hey,
right, and pointing fingers at each other, right? And I've been watching you. You don't pull no punches, so that's a good thing. But just to let you know, we here, we like to humanize the candidates, and we're excited about that. And we really know who you are. But I do want to start with, can you tell us a little bit about your campaign? What are you running on? What is your campaign?
Mm-hmm. It's easy. I'm running on the people. Mm-hmm. We're not running on political party, political family. We're not running on big corporate donors and unions, even though I'm pro-union. But this is a people-powered campaign. Just like you mentioned a few minutes ago, the communities that have been ignored and overlooked, that ends with our campaign. Sure. Where I'm from, 56 and Market.
Okay, yeah,
my community. My community is hit.
Yeah, for sure.
And I still live there. I was shot there. I was locked up there. Opened food banks there. I closed the 24-hour convenience stores. You have to be present where the pain is to change it. No one telling me what our issues are. I still currently live it. When I pull up to my home, and I have my 8-year-old daughter asleep in the back seat, and we pull up, and she says, "Daddy, can you carry me?" I can't even be the father I need to be at that moment. I have to tell her no, because I have to hold her hand and walk with my head on the swivel.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is our life. And me living this every single day, living with the people, with the problems, that's what our campaign is. It's people powered. All the data stuff is nice, and all the union endorsements and elected official endorsements, all that stuff is cute. Yeah. But let's really peel back the onion and say, okay, these endorsements come from people that's been in office how many years?
Yeah, we was talking about that.
And the days of getting reelected for turkeys and book bags are over. Seriously. Yeah. Because the turkeys are getting smaller and the book bags are getting thinner, right? And then our communities are in worse conditions than they were.
Yeah, for sure.
We live in a city where 80+% of our elected officials look like us in this room.
100%.
And they just did an article that black people are worse off than we've ever been. We should be ashamed of ourselves. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what our campaign is about.
Yeah.
You know, putting black people where we need to be.
Right.
And actually fighting for what's right and not what's popular.
So we have, I believe there was a poll that went out that said 65% of the people believe that, you know, the leadership missed the mark as it relates to the true issues. Yeah.
It's only 65?
I mean, you know, that's what because, I mean, we got to understand that only a certain amount of people will get these polls, right? So I just say that just to say that, you know, what's your thoughts on, you know, the feeling of the community when it comes to the leadership and, you know, people feeling like, you know, they're not really, you know, talking to what the community needs. Only the pull quotes or only the cool conversations, you know. So what's your take on that?
My take on that is that us as legislators and community leaders, we need to shut up and listen more. Right? And we get these titles and we become somebody that we're not. We get to Harrisburg and we get treated all nice with the lobster dinners and the bottles of wine and all of that. And then we come home and we forget where we came from.
Yeah.
That's a serious problem. Because 3 months ago, you was just Lil Almond who used to shovel my snow. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, us as leaders, we need to remember who put us where we are.
That's right.
And I noticed that, you know, I went to Harrisburg, like, yo, man, I'm going to be up here with some serious folks. And you do have some serious ones that want to deliver and do a lot, but then they get in bed with the wrong people.
Yeah.
And then that's who they become beholden to. You know, so I'm considered the outsider. I'm always been, because I stand with the people and not the politics. You know, so we need to hold our legislators and our leaders accountable.
Yeah.
You know, stop. No, I don't want your turkey. No, I want to know what you've been doing in Harrisburg. I want to know why in city council all the votes are passing 17-0, 16-1. It's no way possible everyone agrees on everything. So are y'all not pushing meaningful legislation? Right? So in Harrisburg, what we do is we debate, we negotiate, we push and pull, give and take.
Yeah.
So that legislative experience, battling with Republicans, which I have relationships on both sides of the aisle, but just that alone, bringing that to the city, it's going to bring some drastic change, because I'm going to be a mayor who says, all right, hold on now. All right, you telling me all y'all okay with this legislation when all your communities are the same, but they're different, but they similar in some cases, you know. So we have to understand the impact of our decisions that we make. Yeah. You know, there's legislation that been put out in city council that have been regressive. They're hurting black communities. So, yeah.
Interesting. You know, you say, you know, I think interesting that you say, because you touch on a lot of great points. And I'm curious, because one of the questions I would ask too, especially some of the people who were formerly on city council, if you guys, because you mentioned like it passed 17-0, 16-1. If you guys are always on the same page, then why are so many of y'all running now? How come? You know, it's weird for me to. If you guys are always on the same page, how come you couldn't just talk to each other and say, like, I think you will be the better candidate? Why wouldn't you run instead of literally it seems like half the city council is running? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that, and this is just not me, it's the community. All hoods across the city are saying, I'm happy so-and-so is out of there, because we need change.
Yeah, we do.
We need drastic change. It's people our age time to step up and take care of our city, take care of our elders. Right? If we keep the same people in place, we're not going to have access. They don't even know how to work iPhones, some of them. They got staff to do that. That's a problem. Look how much change in a year or two. You got dudes that get locked up, come home in 2 years, they got flying cars. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, what's going on out here? You know, so we need people to get activated and involved who know what's going on in our communities, who can keep up with certain things, like social media. Half of them don't even know how to operate it.
Yeah. So if we know that most of the community at this point feels a little jaded by the leadership, right? A little jaded by politics. What would you say to those to even get them to vote, to even come out? Because you have those people that even say like, my vote don't count. Why you want me to vote? Why should I vote? You know what I mean? So how do you, being now running as a candidate, right, and being mayor, what would you say to that person? As now you running for leadership position, why should I believe you? How do I know you're going to help the community?
Yeah, because I'm not a part of that establishment.
Right.
Right. And the city know it.
Right.
They know voting for me gives us a fresh start and a new beginning, and
Right.
gives each community access and a seat at the table. That's not the case right now.
Right.
If I'm not elected mayor, not much gonna change, because they all cut their side deals, for whether it's for endorsements or support or whatever the case may be.
Right.
That's what needs to stop. That's what's hurting our communities. And you said something earlier that I wanted to touch on. It'll come back to
Yeah.
me.
I got a
The
question.
trust. Go ahead. Yep.
My question is that where the city is right now, that's a huge cleanup. What makes you want to just go in there to clean up something? Because when you do clean it up, you don't really see results until years later at times, because that's how sometimes it takes that long to clean it up.
Yeah, well, that's why we need somebody in there with fresh legs. I'm 35 years old. I have the age to put the time and the work in.
Yeah.
Right? But then you have to be creative. So like you, and I'm gonna say this because you said clean it up. There's community organizations, and there's grants that we can get from the federal government and from the state, and also create them in the city, to give community organizations access to capital to hire people from communities to keep them clean.
Yeah.
Right? We do it. We do state grants like that all the time, but it's not enough. But if we make grants like that available, the local nonprofit can put convicted felons to work, giving them $40,000 a year with benefits or whatever the case may be,
Yeah.
just to start out to keep areas clean. You have to be creative. We have to get into the 21st century, and it's not going to happen unless one of us step up and take over.
Yeah, I agree with that. What do you say? Interesting, because you are the youngest candidate on there.
The
And-
average age of all the candidates right now is like 57,
Yeah.
and I'm 35.
So what would you say to those who, like, say for example, and this is, and I'm just picking her, not for any reason aside from, her years in politics, but say for example, Sherelle Parker, who does have a background in politics, who has been there for a while. What would you say to a candidate like that says that, she's truly qualified to run a position because she got the years and the wheels up under her?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What I would say is, are you happy with the current condition of our city under that leadership? No one's going to say yes. No one, unless they work for that administration.
Right, for sure.
Or unless they have something lined up in the future, if that was the case, if she was victorious. You can drop on any block and say, are you happy with city government right now? Are you happy with the decisions that have been being made for the last 8 years?
Yeah.
No one's going to say yes.
I agree with you.
Do you know anyone winning in the city besides elected officials? Our checks always on time. We get government cars, and we got the best benefits. We should not be the only people benefiting and winning in our city. That's real.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that. When I get on elevators in senior buildings, and I have my seasoned citizens saying, thank you for this weekly food delivery, because without you bringing fresh fruits and vegetables to my building, there's some days or weeks I wouldn't eat because I had to decide between my prescription or my or food.
Yeah.
But it's small things that we can do as leaders with our titles to turn around our communities. And I had no idea.
But is this a bigger problem than just Philadelphia? Like, you just named something that spoke towards what the global world is looking at. Is this
Yeah.
something than just this? Like, are you able to really, it's like we overpromise and underdeliver. Hey, pick me. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then we're still sitting there because, although your word matters, but things aren't being pushed where it's showing that change is being made.
So the examples of that is, if you look at my legislative district now, right, it's District 10. We did redistricting, they changed it. But if you look at where we were before I got there and look where we are now, we are leading in grants back to the district for nonprofits, and a lot of first-time applicants got awards. We're leading in constituent services. We put our district office in an area that had low constituent services turnout and also low voter turnout. People was calling me crazy for picking 46 in Lancaster. They're like, why are you putting it down there? That's the ghetto. But we looked at where the community needed the services the most.
There you go.
Why would we put an office where people already know who to call and where to go for the services? Why? Yeah. So we put it at 46 in Lancaster, and now that area is equal throughout.
We have so my guy DSJ over there. I know he grinding his teeth because he got a few questions for you. Yeah. But real quick.
And I remember what I was going to say earlier.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So you mentioned about like why people, like not voting and things ain't changing. Right. I don't blame us, right? It's like, why am I going to show up to vote for the same people, and I'm in the worst position? Yeah. Right. I've been voting for this person for years and years and years, but then you have elected officials who've been there 20, 30, 40 years, and they're not coaching nobody up to fulfill that space. Like that could be happening all in every district across the city. Yeah. It's all about me, and I want the power. I don't want to bring nobody up and show them the way. Yeah. But then I want to handpick my person who don't know nothing, but I want them to always depend on me even when I'm gone.
Yeah. People can argue that they need fresh faces, and one thing that I can say, right, and this is, people say I show a little favoritism, but the people I show favoritism are the people who I see out there in those streets right now. And one thing I can say, like a Catherine Gilmore Jones and Isaiah Richardson and Isaiah Thomas and Jamie Gautier, they've been out in the streets. I see them visually. I see them. And so it's very important for me to see our leadership if that's what they're talking about doing. If you're talking about helping the people in the community, where are you? I need to see you in the community, right? One of the things that, a question that I asked that I'm very passionate about are the arts. And what will you do in this leader position to put money back in to support the arts? Art, literally, this is the scope that we're in right now. This is the arts. This is, we have platform for things like this. And so, for us to say, like, to have a platform to interview someone like you, it's kind of like, we want to put you on a hot seat. We want to know, what will you do to continue to support people like us, to a fight against even some of those gatekeepers. A few panels that you've been on, we couldn't even get in there because we wasn't part of the big three, right? And so the challenges that the little people have, right? The little community, the artists, even, the visual artists, we're having those challenges and it's no funds to support us. What will you do, as mayor to, pivot that or to support the independent creator and producers like us?
I just said it a few minutes ago. Access, right? Somebody like me becoming the next mayor of this city gives everybody access. You're not getting turned around. You're not getting stopped at the door. Yeah. You're going to be at the table. Yeah. I said it's our time. And in this art space, I know how important it is. Do I know everything about it? I don't. But I know how valuable you guys are. I know that's real. So giving access to everybody, no matter who you go home to, who you pray to, who you love, or what car you drive, you're going to have access, whatever industry you're in. This city is not going to change unless everyone has a seat at the table. All the division that's going on, that's what's hurting our city. Yeah. Shutting out the quote unquote little guy. That's why we can't grow. But that's by design. I mean, we ain't even got to go down that road, the by design road. So that's what's so important about our campaign, giving our city a fresh start. And the quote unquote little guy, I don't consider folks little, but we will have a seat at the table, man. Sure. Just like I had to take it. I ran against the party, spanked them, right, with no money, but the power of the people. We did it again the second time with no problem. We're doing it now. You know, they're trying to shut out the little guy. They're trying to act like our candidacy isn't real. No, our joint is serious. We got real communities, and black men gonna step up, and black women are showing up and showing out.
DSJ is ready.
know.
I just
He's-
got one more question. One more question. Daryl, one more question. We have Zombie City in Philadelphia.
Jeez, yeah.
And I don't hear a lot of people talking about that. I come
Kensington,
from the
right?
era, in
Yeah,
Kensington.
Kensington.
I
I'll
come
tell
from
you
the
what I'ma
era
do.
where crack and coke, where crack was, oh, you know, everybody was the worst. But now it's, oh, they need help. It's a disease. Here's the resources. And then you go down Kensington, and it's like you got the meth labs and you got all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's Zombie City. What is Philadelphia, or what would you do to change that if you became mayor?
Yeah, so our plan, like, look, y'all. I hope y'all know I'm tough on crime. I don't tolerate violent criminals. That ain't my thing. I was shot at 14 by a repeat violent offender. He was a grown man, and he shot 2 children. My friend and I, we both 14. He was 21. You know, so having a mother who had to experience potentially losing her child, this is real for me. You know, and that same mother who was addicted to drugs. So that crack you talking about, I know all about it.
Wow.
Like my mother would leave the night of the 31st because the check come in, especially when they started on the access card. She'll be gone for 4, 5, 6, 7 days. But the rent man sitting outside sleeping in the truck waiting for her to come back, empty-handed. And then what happens? So this is personal for me. So with this Kensington piece, they're going to have 2 options. You either involuntarily going to go get these services, or you're going to voluntarily get these services, but you're getting off these streets. And you're going to go get the services that the federal government are funding, because all those companies that you're talking about, they're getting the money, then the beds are empty.
Yep.
So those folks down there, they're super comfortable. You got churches and organizations bringing them clothes, bringing them bandages, bringing them needles. Why leave? Bringing them tents. Why leave? I get my drug. They giving out free samples. So the people that are stuck down there, they give out the samples to them, and then they go other places and say, look, this is how good it is. Look at Kensington. This is on the streets of Kensington. And it's so people don't understand, it's money down there, but it's not a lot. Where them people getting money from? It's Sample City. That's what it is. But no one knows that because they're not in the streets. They giving out samples like crazy. You know, so we're going to, and those drug dealers down there, they're going to have a serious problem. Serious problem. Because we're not tolerating it. Because when you sit and you stand on K&A and you see 8 and 9 and 10-year-old children running past, stepping on needles with book bags on after school, you're gonna say, you know what, Brother Amin, you're right. Get them guys off the streets. Force these people into treatment because somebody loves them, and there's too many people dying. And too long under this current leadership, we've been ignoring it. But now everybody got a plan.
DS Jack, no look past. Holla at me.
So Almond Brown, y'all, like he's gonna tell you he's 35. So he's a 80s baby, 90s and 2000s raised me. So you know what a cassette tape is, and you were there for the rise and development of the internet. So talk about how that puts you in a unique position to be able to understand the youth and to relate to our elders. I like how you said it, our seasoned citizens.
Seasoned citizens, man. So look, right, we're in the day of modern technology, social media. Our administration is going to be leaning solely on staying up to date and moving along with the times. Prime example, our part of our public safety plan is a heavy social media task force 24/7, because a lot of these crimes are being committed on social media and we do nothing about it. So we need people, and might I add, we're going to hire young people who stay on top of it. Give them a job. Let us know, because you have pages like Philly Scoreboard. Are you familiar with Philly Scoreboard? This is, and I'll say it quickly, this is a page where they monitor the gang activity, and they'll say, okay, Zoo Gang, which is a real gang, they killing people. Zoo Gang just killed Little Mook from young bag chasers. So now they're plus 2 points and Zoo Gang is minus whatever. And then they'll post a picture or the news clip of the person to prove that the murder happened. And they'll say, yeah, so-and-so did it. Little Zane did it, whoever. And it's right in front of our faces. You have videos of some of these gang members, which their social media pages are followed by whoever. They'll go Instagram live and be like, yeah, I just stole this joint, check it out. You know, the lady jumped out like it was sweet. And then her Honda. And then that same car be viewed fleeing a crime scene on 20th and Burks.
Right.
So if we have people who know what's going on, who can monitor this, saying who's going to say, all right, well, the page used to be Philly Scoreboard _1, but they change it weekly. So then this week it'd be Philly Scoreboard ... 9. So we need individuals who know what's going on. We have to activate these people to help us actually prevent and intervene. So that's just one example of how we're going to be a 21st century administration and knowing, like you said, knowing what's going on out
How
here in
about
these
you knew
streets.
this? Like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, he's on
You
top
can
of
go-
things
you can go
like
on there
that.
right now.
Wow.
It's real. You can literally go on right now and they'll say somebody just got killed the other day. The picture of them. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think one of your more controversial proposals is the ski mask ban. So can you talk about your motivation behind that and the how you would pull that off?
Yeah, man. Look, ski mask thing is real, right? And it's not just ski mask. It's any face or head coverings where you can't be identified. You got all these folks talking about, we're going to invest in cameras. Okay, these young boys going to throw a ski mask on. Your camera ain't no good. But then you got city council passing legislation where you basically don't need license plates to ride around. So how are we going to catch people? You see what I'm saying? So it's like we have to stop the regressive policies, but then we also have to fully explain what we're talking about. So ski mask is head coverings, face coverings where you can't be identified by a camera. Because why are you hiding? Right? And some are saying, oh, well, that's going to be, you're violating someone's rights. No, my rights are being violated when I'm at a gas station and 3 or 4 dudes jump out of a car with ski masks on and my daughter's in the back seat.
100%. Yeah.
You know, like you ain't saying that then.
Yeah, I want to push back a little bit on that because when you say face coverings, what comes to me are my community, like the Islamic community, and I look at the sisters in garb and you know, so what would you say to that? Because I think the problem becomes when policy is written, there's shades of gray within that, right? And so how would you make sure that people like the Islamic community, which Philadelphia has the biggest,
Yes,
right?
we do.
How would you make sure that people like that aren't targeted by default because of the way that this is written?
Absolutely. So religious beliefs, that's something completely different. What I mean is surgical mask, because now what they're doing is surgical mask and they'll bring the hood down to here. That's something completely different. Right. The Islamic community, we're not touching that. Yeah. Like that's off limits. We're not doing that. Okay. There's 100%, 1,000% respect there. So we know, and there has been a few cases where some people try and they disrespect the religion and go into a bank. Yep. But that's not what we see out here. Gotcha. You know, but Islamic community, we're not going to violate you guys.
I appreciate that because I already know somebody will take a pull quote from what you just said and kind of target and put, you know, certain people against certain communities. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear. Go ahead, DSJ. Here.
So you're currently a state rep, and some people will argue that you're in a position of power, so why look for more power?
Good question.
Or different power, maybe.
Now, that's a great question. But then my response would be, again, are you happy with the people that's in power and city leadership now? And what has that gotten you lately? You know what I mean? So we all agree that we need change. So why would we vote in somebody who's already proven to fail us? That's a real question. So then if you say, well, look, hey, Rep Brown, what have you done in your 30 months elected? I can say, hey, look, this is what we got accomplished. This is how many constituents, 18,000 constituents served. Yeah. This is how many people we brought home from prison. This is how many pardons we got done, how many commutations. I can list it all. Do that for one of them other people. Seriously. They'll say, well, I got so-and-so a job. You got so-and-so a job. Okay. Now let's ask so-and-so. Let's rate so-and-so. Is so-and-so serving the people like she should or he should? No, because when I call that office or that department they work at, I get the please hold, and then no one ever picks up again because you want to give so-and-so a job. That's the reality of what's going on out here. You know, so we have to activate the people like us. Like we have to get into the real times of what's going on right now. You know, and look, I love my seasoned citizens. I love the people who are working hard and who have been working hard for us throughout the years. But we need a mixture of old and new. Yeah. Just doing old ain't working. That's the facts.
You've been very hard on the candidates as you've been on these panels. What inspires you to literally? Because I don't necessarily see this from a lot of the other candidates, but you totally have been pulling the veil up on some of these candidates.
Because that's what what comes out of me is what I'm hearing in these streets. Right. They like I'm part of these communities. Yeah. And we're tired. And if I don't do what I'm doing, I might as well just fall in line with the rest of them. They have to be called out on their stuff, man. You know, and it's like, there's not a street that I can't walk down now. And they be like, good job, baby. I'm glad you said that. His meats do be bad. You know what I mean? Like, that stuff is real. Like, seriously. You know, so, and I can go on and on about the things that go on these panels. And I'm saying things that people been thinking for years. But that's letting you know that I'm connected and I'm living it with us. You know, this is just the facts.
DSJ, holla at me.
You a bit over a month ago got your committee assignments, and one of them is the housing and community development. And housing is a big issue in Philadelphia, and it's one of the issues that keep children out of their home, out of the care of their parents, keep them in the system. Can you talk about, as mayor, how your plans to create more housing opportunities for your citizens?
Yeah. Thanks for that question, man. In my committee assignments, you can see some people might say, oh, they some BS assignments. But each of my committee assignments are directly impacting, or they're issues that are impacting our city. You have liquor. I'm on the liquor control committee, right? What do we have on every corner that are been problems in our communities? The delis.
That's right.
Right. So people are like, why you want to be on liquor? Because I know what's going on in my neighborhoods. The complaints are the delis. So we need to be on the liquor committee. Someone from Philadelphia needs to be on that committee so we can hold these folks accountable, work on snatching licenses, reevaluating businesses, and the whole nine. Then you have aging. In my district, we have over 19 senior apartment buildings in the district. I have some of the oldest population in the state. I need to be on aging. I need to know what's going on for my older citizens. What else I have? Commerce. In my district, I have some of the strongest business corridors in the city of Philadelphia. I have to be on. I have Logan Square now. It's parts of Center City. I have 52nd Street, 60th Street, Lancaster Avenue, Girard Avenue. I have Market Street. I have University City. I need to be on Commerce Committee, right? And then what's the other one? And then housing. One of the number one calls that we get from my district office is people who need housing. So people might say, oh, you can't, you got corny committees. You're not going to be able to raise money. I ain't there to raise money. I'm here to work and have access, because that's why my people sent me to Harrisburg to work and understand the issues. So now with the housing committee, that lets me know, gives me first dibs on what's going on in the state and how we can move, whether it's legislation, policies, or funding to create affordable housing in our city. But now as mayor, you know, when you have a heart condition or a heart problem, you don't go to urgent care. You go to a heart specialist, right? Yeah. You know, so if we're saying we have a housing problem, we need to take a step back and look at who would be our specialist in that space. who has been doing it for years. PHA, the Philadelphia Housing Authority, right? They currently receive their current budget is around $400 million a year, which 93% of that budget comes from federal government, 6% comes from rents from the tenants, 1% comes from city grants. almost 80% of that $400 million goes toward overhead, maintenance, things of that nature, and salaries. So they don't have enough money to keep creating more housing.
Wow.
So what we're going to do, and shame on the city for not prioritizing housing, just like all these council members talking about I'm pro housing and I'm affordable housing, you ain't proving it because the budget, since you've been elected, ain't gave money to PHA to build. So how are you really for affordable housing? Stop playing with us, right? So our first year, we're going to commit $100 million into our for PHA in our budget as a line item, and then $50 million every year after that, so we can build. The city owns over 8,500 lots. The city owns. So we're going to build homes for these individuals. A lot of people saying they throwing out all these numbers. I'm going to build 30,000. What's your plan? How you going to do it? How you going to pay for it? You know, so, and then that might be the next question. And how you going to pay for it? We're going, in the first 100 days, we're going to identify the waste. There's a lot of wasted money out here in these departments, starting with gun violence prevention, then the DA's office. There's waste all over the place, and we're going to find it and reallocate that money and put it where it needs to go.
You talked about licenses and holding people accountable. One of the things that I haven't heard too many other candidates talk about is the PPA.
Oh yeah, they're a problem, and I'll say it, they got to go. You know, they need to be held accountable. They target black communities, ticket after ticket. That's not okay. We already got late rent fees and all kinds of crap. We can barely afford what we are, and then y'all slapping us over the head with $350 a month in tickets because I didn't move my car. Y'all just slapped this sign up here with no notice. You know, so no, PPA is a problem, and we will be addressing them accordingly.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear.
No, seriously. You know, and I actually worked on something in Harrisburg to address the PPA thing. It was in dealing with the boots, right? Like, why do government allow PPA to take your asset away because you owe them $111?
Yep.
Right?
And then resell it.
Yeah. You're setting me back. You're taking my vehicle that gets my kids to school and me to work. Now you're going to boot my car and set me back even further. So my legislation, which is still in Harrisburg, was to ban any kind of boot material and stopping PPA from being able to take your assets.
Oh, sure.
No, seriously. That's a real thing.
So, jeez. You got any more questions?
No, I see.
No doubt. Wow, this was a surprise. Because you're not this vocal on the panels, and
you only get a minute.
That's true. That's true.
You only get a minute.
No.
A chance to
only get a minute.
And I'm glad that you came because I don't think anyone heard this side of you or pretty much what you stand on. I think, you know, it's kind of like, here go a question. Aha, I got you. And I think, you know, the panels have been like that. This is not to take away from the great work that a lot of the partners who've been putting these panels, because what I do think about the panels is there has been so many that now people in these communities can now say that they attended one. And before it wasn't like that. You know, and so the community are now becoming or being able to see who's potentially going to be in a leadership position, and they are hearing that, and platforms like ours are allowing you to kind of speak a little bit more to what you're actually going to run on. Real quick, because we only got a couple minutes left.
Yes.
I know, right? So one question that I ask everybody, because I like to humanize them, is tell me one thing that no one else knows about you. That you can tell us now. One thing.
That's a good question. I love country music.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And I like watching line dancing.
Okay.
You know, it's like it's crazy, but it's decent, man. You know,
for sure.
just the environment that they create. You know, especially I go to a spot in Jersey just to watch sometime, and it's all ages, man, and all race. You know, and they're just out there having a good time, and it's organized, it's fun.
Yeah.
And you don't get to see a lot of that anymore. You know, so every once in a while I step away and go watch. But that's what I want to bring to the city.
Fantastic.
You know, I want to bring that kind of positive energy back. But I'm gonna need you guys' help, man.
That's the arts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the arts.
Listen, we literally we left a event earlier, and I was with my team in the truck, and we were talking about the things that we're going to be doing with our young people.
Yeah.
Like Young People Day. Come hang out with the mayor, citywide event, stuff like that. That's the stuff that we have to do.
Wow.
Because these young men, we've been ignored.
Yeah, for sure.
And everyone's talking about what's best for us. But y'all ain't talking to us.
Shout out to Purple Blackwell, who has been doing a lot of great things as it relates to the young people. Go ahead real quick.
No, I was going to say, you always talk about how you want to see them out in these streets.
In the streets.
Yes, Charles always says that. And
wanna see
even
them
in
in the
this
streets.
interview, he's cleaning up needles in Kensington. He's giving out fruit baskets to the elderly. Like, you're out here, but there's no camera following you to show the people that you're out here.
See, and that's what they're afraid of. I'm a real person doing real work.
That's for sure.
And I'm not running around and say, "Oh, look what I did." That's not what we should be doing.
Look in the camera and tell all the people who's looking today and who will see this, why should they vote for you?
Hey, well, first off, thank you for having us. You know, you should vote for me, because it's just like voting for you. You know, you voting for me is voting for yourself, because I'm going to be present, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be transparent, and I'm going to make the tough decisions that people have been afraid to make for years. You know, I understand being the CEO and the mayor of a big city is a tough task, but I'm willing to put the time and energy and the work in. And I'm telling you, Philadelphia, I will not let you down. It is time that we have a fresh start and a new beginning. And no community will be left out, no family, no individual, even the folks who don't vote for me. I will be a mayor for you, and I'll be a mayor for everybody. And so Philadelphia, please push button 34 for Amen Brown.
How can they get more, find out more information about you and contact you, all that good old stuff?
Amen for Philly on all the social media handles, and amenforphilly.com.
That's
so
fantastic.
we out here in these streets, man.
We in them streets.
We in them streets.
No
You know
doubt.
what I'm saying?
No doubt.
You know, so-
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Look, man, when you talk about someone who's out there in them streets, you know how we feel. We don't endorse anyone. The people who we endorse are the people who out there really doing those things for the community, and I appreciate you for doing that, my brother. So don't go anywhere. When we come back, we got another candidate here that's ready to talk that good talk, and we'll be right back after this, y'all.
Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl Lauren Sizzle, and you are now tuned in to one of the hottest talk shows in the nation. We Talk Weekly's After the Talk.
I'm Classy Lady Sparkle. You want to binge listen to our shows? Follow the We Talk Weekly's podcast on iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Spreaker.
What up, folks? This your boy Charles Gregory. Make sure to follow us on all our socials at We Talk Weekly.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Lily. So make sure you keep it locked to We Talk Weekly on 106.5 FM.